Donald Trump is officially the 47th President of the United States of America. And while his term doesn't begin until January, we're already seeing significant changes in the financial sector.
Yeah, there's a lot to get through, Matthew. Thank you very much. The market's reaction to Donald Trump's victory has been pretty dramatic. Even though many traders had expected this win, it could have far-reaching consequences for the global economy. Let's have a look at the numbers on the markets. The victory sent stocks soaring on Wall Street, with the Dow, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq all seeing very significant gains. In fact, the S&P 500 has hit a record high. Banking stocks in particular have been rising, and Elon Musk's Tesla is one of the biggest gainers, with its shares up by more than 14%. Bitcoin was also a big winner. It passed the $75,000 mark for the first time ever.
A Trump presidency is going to affect the value of cars in many significant ways. Everything from his tariffs to his tax cuts to his economic changes and his plan to reduce government involvement in the automotive sector are going to have an influence on the price of cars. And we're going to take a look at each one of those issues and talk about how they're going to affect the value of cars over the next 4 years. If you're new to my channel, I publish original automotive content. So if you're not subscribed yet, click below to subscribe. And be sure to click the notifications bell so you can be notified about my latest videos. Trump's tariffs are a hot topic right now, and many of his tariffs will have an effect on the automotive industry. Trump has proposed a 10% tariff on all imported goods, a 50% tariff on all imported Chinese cars, and a 60% tariff on all Chinese goods. There's a lot of debate over what exactly the new tariffs will entail and how they will affect the economy, but in short, Trump wants cars to be built in America, and he wants the American people to purchase cars that are built in America. And this doesn't mean just American companies like Ford and Chevy. He wants all manufacturers worldwide to be producing cars in the US, as his tariffs are also designed to encourage international companies to bring their manufacturing into the US. Something that I learned while doing research for this video is that BMWs Spartanburg plant produced over 410,000 vehicles in 2023, of which more than half were exported to 120 different countries, which makes America one of the biggest exporters of BMWs in the world. And with this high production plant in place, BMW will not be sweating any of the new tariffs introduced by the upcoming Trump administration. Additionally, Mercedes-Benz has 2 production plants in the US, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and Charleston, South Carolina, which produced a combined 346,600 vehicles last year, which accounts for around 14% of the automaker's total sales, and about 2/3 of the cars produced at the Tuscaloosa plant were exported. Volkswagen has a plant in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which produced around 175,000 vehicles in 2023. And last year, Toyota built nearly 2 million vehicles in America. So if anyone tells you that Trump's tariffs will prevent you from buying a Toyota or a BMW or a Mercedes, you just send them to this video right here. And it's kind of amazing just how many people are claiming that Trump's policies are going to eliminate the jobs of automotive workers and shut down all of the manufacturing plants in America. But I like facts, and if put into place, the new tariffs will no doubt strengthen manufacturing and sales of American-made cars, which will lead to more American jobs and a stronger economy, which of course means more car sales. But the tariffs might mean that Americans will be paying more for cars that are imported into the US, possibly as much as 10%. But when you consider just how many European cars are actually made in the US, this shouldn't affect too many people. German car companies produce about 1.6 million cars in the US each year, of which about 800,000 are sold in the US. Many related Tier 1 suppliers also operate inside the US and will not be affected by an auto parts tariff. German manufacturers also export an additional 500,000 vehicles to the US each year, and these cars would feel the impact of any added levies. But according to Atradius, I think that's how you pronounce it, luxury car manufacturers should be in a better position to manage added costs, as their main segments are typically more willing to accept price increases. That being said, German or other European suppliers that are currently exporting parts to the US will likely face a significant reduction in profitability as a result of the new tariffs, as many US-based importers may decide to switch to local suppliers. So unless you're buying an exotic car, chances are the import vehicle that you'll be purchasing will be made in the US, and the tariffs will not affect you at all. But if you're looking to buy a Porsche or a McLaren, then you might be paying 10% more. From the moment it became evident that Trump was going to win the presidential race, the stock market went up, the dollar went up, and crypto went up. And the long-term effects of this will mean more financial stability for the average American and a lot more money for people who have invested wisely. And when it comes to car-centric Americans, the more money they have, the more money they spend on cars. Crypto is skyrocketing right now, and while the overall automotive industry has shied away from crypto, the used exotic market began embracing it a few years back, and today, crypto and exotics go together like whiskey and smoked brisket.
My name is Peter Saddington. I have been a serial entrepreneur my entire life. For me, I see Bitcoin as not only a store of value, but actually a mechanism for exchange for large items like Lamborghinis, like houses. This is the Bitcoin Huracan Lamborghini that was bought with Bitcoin, and I purchased it for 45 Bitcoin.
This car is a 2017 Lamborghini Huracan. It's got a special, unique paint job on it. It's got a fully customized interior with stitching, forged composite components. So it's a really neat car, but what's special about this car is that it's already been purchased using Bitcoin, something you're familiar with.
Is that right? So who purchased it?
That would be you. And I haven't had a look at it yet. So
I haven't seen it. Show it to me.
let me show you what's going on.
All right. Whoa. That foray is nasty.
So with more money and more financial stability, people are going to be much more willing to buy newer and nicer cars, and this will drive the overall prices of cars up over the next couple years. But not all categories of cars will be affected the same way. A strengthening dollar and stock market will encourage more people to invest, and classic cars have been gaining in popularity with investors as some cars offer better returns than the stock market, and classic cars tend to be more enjoyable and more fulfilling to own than stocks or cryptocurrency. Overall, classic car values dropped during the Biden-Harris administration, and when you couple the lower prices with the freshly rising markets, we can expect the demand and sales of classic cars to start going up in 2025, which will, of course, lead to higher values. Used exotic car values will also go up as rising markets in the US will strengthen consumer confidence, and people will be more encouraged to purchase high-dollar luxury items. But the prices of non-exotic and non-luxury cars like Civics, Corollas, and F-150s will start to see a drop in value over the next year or two, as people who become more financially stable will be more likely to purchase newer and more luxurious vehicles. Trump will be easing some of the government restrictions placed on vehicles over the last few years, and he will be easing some of the restrictions that were planned for the future. Over the past few years, Democrats have grown increasingly hostile towards cars, and they're not just wanting to ban internal combustion cars, they're wanting to ban all cars. And some far left-leaning cities are introducing legislation that even make automotive-related things illegal, like car washes and drive-thrus. And some cities are introducing congestion pricing, which requires people to pay huge tolls for driving their vehicles into the city. And this includes vehicles that are delivering supplies and products to businesses. And other cities have banned cars outright. Trump, on the other hand, is extremely pro-automobile and won't be supporting Democrats' anti-automobile initiatives. During his election campaign, he stated that he wanted to end the electric vehicle mandate on day one of his presidency. But he's not anti-electric vehicle, as he also stated that he believes anyone who wants an EV should be able to have one. But at the same time, he believes the government should have limited influence over the automotive sector. The S&P Global Mobility estimates that a Trump presidency will mean a shift in EV market share in the United States from a planned 50% by 2030 to a target of 37% for that same year. And according to CBT News, Trump's presidency will likely reduce the regulatory pressures on automakers to shift towards EVs, easing stringent emissions rules and revisiting incentives that have fueled growth in the sector. With a Republican-controlled Senate, Trump could set aside provisions within the Inflation Reduction Act explicitly targeting clean energy tax credits that incentivize EV purchases. Furthermore, the Trump administration may restrict California's ability to set independent emission standards, a waiver upheld during the Biden years. California standards have set a high bar for zero-emission goals and influenced 17 other states. Trump also wants to make auto loan interest tax deductible, and his proposed tax break would make interest on car loans fully tax deductible. It's an idea that he compared to home mortgage interest deduction, which allows some homeowners to reduce their taxable income by writing off a portion of their mortgage interest payments each year. And this would certainly help to increase new car sales. So once Trump's presidency kicks into high gear, we can expect the prices of classic cars to rise due to increased interest from investors. We can expect the price of used exotics to rise due to a better financial position for many Americans. We can expect the price of new cars to go up slightly due to increased demand being driven by a better economy, and we can expect a small price decrease for non-luxury, non-exotic used cars due to growing interest in newer luxury cars. Thanks for watching, and for more automotive content that you cannot find anywhere else, click here to subscribe.
Thereby saving the U.S. auto industry from complete obliteration, which is happening right now, and saving U.S. customers thousands and thousands of dollars per car.